Hey, welcome.
Hey, hello. Thanks again for having me.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Just quickly catching up on some last bits before I got here to make sure I've got everything.
Uh-huh. Yeah, totally understandable. And thanks for coming again.
Yeah, as always, it's a pleasure being here. I love talking about choices with you. I love just interacting with everybody. It's something that's been become a real favorite thing of mine.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. And I love hearing your insights because I think this is really super awesome. Like what you bring, the different things you bring to the table, like always. And I really love hearing those.
Yeah, I love being able to try and get into the deeper meanings of things and try and understand them from multiple points and just in different ways. It's
Yeah.
kind of what a book is. I like, in my opinion. It's just the way you can experience multiple things, even though it's just one in a way.
Hmm. Yeah. It's sort of like it's what you make of it. So, you can make of it different things in different ways or just single thing. It's like just, I think, the perspective, I think, really.
Yeah, I mean, with all the amazing stories that people bring up in choices, in regular stories, it's just there's so much to it, into the characters, the lore of the story, the different sides, especially like conflict stories, all the forbidden loves. There's just so much to it. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. I mean, you can't get enough of it.
Yeah, definitely, especially with choices.
Yeah, because it's really diverse, and I've said it before quite a few times that in choices, compared to any other even apps, like the way they write the stories, they have something different to it. I have read other horror genre and stuff, but in choices, it just is different. I don't know where they get this writers, the team they gather. It's not like just a online game, but it's just like a proper novel sometimes, like it's a good book, good literature. Somewhere it's just some things added up to just say this is happening, this is happening. But here they just go really, I mean, their writing is off the chart. It's like real literature. The way they use some words and the way they write the thing, also the design, it's just super awesome.
Yeah, and to say that like, in a way, these books and stories aren't exactly as big as regular books or stories in a way, but they have different things to make up for that. We've got the art that goes into it, the character models, the music. It makes an amazing story for. I'd say it's a perfect time. Whether you're going through with or without VIP, taking your time to go through it. It still takes you a fair amount of time to go through it and enjoy it. So it's not like it's you're rushing through and just missing out on it. So it's a good
Mm,
good length.
yeah, agree with you. Totally agree with you. It's just super awesome. Overall, a great experience with how they write it. Yeah, I think I was reading a very scandalous proposal, so they used something like, and there was a long pregnant silence. So I was like, wow. I mean, this is like, I mean, I haven't heard anything like this or read anything like this since my high school when I used to read literatures and book. Like I read stuff online, like I said, in other app stores or sometimes online stories, but the construction, uh, the poetry, let's say, in those, or the writing, the literature, it's just class. Sometimes it really makes you feel like, wow, you're reading something.
Yeah, it's just so amazing. The writers really go out of their way to create something new and different, and it's just so refreshing to see in such, well, I guess modern books. I mean, we still
Mm.
got modern books, here and there. We've got some really
Oh,
interesting ones still being
yeah.
made, but I'd say in terms of the ones that choices make, their writers are they've got a really good team, really unique team on their side. So that's one of their strengths.
Yeah, and also one thing I really like is that how they try new things. I mean, so, like the way they tried something with Witness. Definitely, people it got some backlash, but the way they still tried something new. I think it was the first time, even before the VIP release. So they tried the one love interest thing there. In a non VIP book for the first time, the short chapter length, and then how the story progressed. I mean, yeah, people didn't receive the way it was not that successful, but still the way they put it out, and I personally, I don't hate it, but I like it. I think the main complaint is really short length of the chapter. Like it just, you wait 1 week and then it just ends. But I think I don't know if they're connected, but I think it could have led to the rise of my two first love. So chapter lengths are really short, but they release chapter every day, and that was an experiment. So I think people are sometimes afraid to experiment, but choices are not, and that makes them, sometimes you can see the backlash, but they they keep experimenting with things, and I really like that. Like keep on going, irrespective of whatever is happening, and you're gonna get the best out of it. Because if you don't try different things, then you wouldn't know what fixed the bait, what fixed the spot.
Yeah, definitely. That's one thing you've got to give choices credit for. The fact that they're not afraid to experiment and just, because at the end of the day, that's all a lot of things are. It's trial and error going into it,
Yeah.
making sure that you can have the courage to do it. Because at the end of the day, you've only got one chance to do something. May as well give it all in, see how it goes. And if it doesn't work, at least you know and you can improve on that. You can learn
Mm,
from mistakes, or you can, who knows, it may even turn something great that everyone likes and you can keep it up. So
mm,
personally, I think it's amazing that they do that, and it's really good to see it.
mm. Yeah, it's really good to see that. Yeah, it's great about choices, but also it's great about you. I mean, I think this week you were mentioned in one of the posts of the choices Insta fandom, and they gave you a shout out, and that was really awesome. You deserved it, and congratulations for that.
Thank you, really. I was at a loss for words actually. I think I've been in the fandom for I don't know, about a few weeks. I didn't really have much of an interaction to start off with, but I slowly started to get to know everybody. Everyone was so welcoming and caring. I've been getting to know everybody, one on one, and it's been so nice just be able to come home, or if I'm having a rough day or something, just be able to come to the fandom, talk to everyone. They're so nice, really supportive, and I'm just glad I can try and give some of it back. And it's just I'm still curious. I think I know who did, but I'm still curious as to who actually submitted the message and wrote out. But big thanks to them, and thanks to all the comments. It was absolutely amazing to see.
Mm, yeah, I mean, like I said before, I mean, yeah, I have like you're genuinely a guy who like cares for stuff and is just very polite, and just and very well spoken. Also, you can speak your mind well, and just you're just not the speaking part. You also listen to stuff. So yeah, all the good qualities, and like I said, it's really glad that someone like you is here to lift up spirits, or to just like, and even just chatting with you or talking with you, or just through your interactions also, I see why it can lift up people's spirits, because it has definitely lifted up my spirits on several occasions, like you said, having a bad day and then talking with you and just feeling completely different. So yeah, and all the amazing conversations, more than that, that's important, because whenever you have amazing conversations, it's just, you don't have always amazing conversations, so it's just all thanks to you.
Yeah, just at the end of the day, I think it just comes down to being able to have a friend or friends, some like just people you can
Yeah.
sit down with, talk to, and just reflect. Some kind of like a time where you can just think where the world is just on its own, doing its own thing, and you're in your own time with your friends, just chilling
Mm,
and having a nice conversation. It's refreshing, and it's really relieving, especially in the hardness of the world, life with all its hardships. It's refreshing, and I just don't know where I'd be without the fandom. Really, all I can say is the only thing I've regretted so far is not coming into it sooner.
well, you're now here, so yeah, that's that.
Yeah, I'm couldn't be more glad. Everyone's accepted me really nice. Although I will admit I don't think I had a good start with a few people, but I've managed to fix things and get things rolling smoother.
Mm, yeah, a good job with that, and keep making us happy, keep entertaining us, and keep lifting up our spirits. Thanks for that.
Well, I can only say is you're welcome, and I just hope I can do it for everyone, really. If anyone needs any help, I want to help best I can.
Mm, that's a good spirit, Yeah. And also, it talked about like we're going to talk about this. I think chapter 10 to 13 of It Lives Beneath Cat streamed this week, last week. So, and also she mentioned about your live stream about a very scandalous proposal. So I can't wait for that. I mean, it's going to be super awesome.
Yeah, I remember I was going over it last night, and I was going through the VOD, and I just heard my name, and I'm like, did I miss something? And then she's been talking about I think people have been wanting her to do AVSP, and she was like, I can't do British accents. I will do the main character, but I may need to get some other accents. And then she was just like, Brandon, if you're volunteering, and then kind of made me chuckle a bit. But when hopefully if Kat watches this, I would love to join you on AVSP. Although I will say I don't think my British accent is amazing, but I'll do what I can. If
Yeah,
you'll have me,
it,
I would love
it,
to.
Yeah, it is definitely amazing. Give yourself some credit. I mean, yeah, it's definitely amazing. And when you'll be going over that, reading that, and with the music and everything, then you would be automatically shifting to that. I don't know what Monja. I think Ava is the female one. I don't know. So that if you play that role, it would be awesome.
There's Ava and then there's Simon. I'm not sure which one Kat's gonna go with, but uh, given the amount of characters, I don't think I'll have to worry about doing much voice. Well, at least less voice acting. Plenty of them.
Yeah, I mean, just the MC is American. Everyone else is British.
Yeah, it makes sense. Kat able to still be part of her own story with her character. I did think it was actually quite interesting they brought in a different character, an American, into this, into the different country, different way of life, how the people she's going to be talking to interact with
Yeah.
and stuff. It's interesting to see.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Yeah, and we're going to talk about that in a different way of life today when we talk about a very scandalous proposal. So let's get started with our first book of this week, Laws of Attraction.
Yes, our one of our upcoming favorites, I have to say. I'm really enjoying the story. Every week I'm getting hyped for it, and every week I don't think it's disappointed so far.
How what?
I don't think it's been disappointing so far. I've been enjoying it
Oh yeah,
each week.
yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I have heard someone saying like, and I agree with this sentiment that it can't be too judgmental about a book just by seeing one or two chapters. So at least you got to give a book 6 chapters to see how it's going. And so far, 6 chapters have been released, and it's been really good. Every chapter. I think it's kind of like open heart. It's just you're lawyers, so you solve different cases. You go through that. You have some drama. The French circle is a little different, but so just the excitement. Different cases. You go to the courtroom drama, and you kind of dig up the case on your own, and how you develop as a lawyer. So it's just super awesome book. Yeah, agree with you.
Yeah, we see the character not only evolve as a person, but as an exceptional lawyer, going by his emotions and what's right. It's not he doesn't twist the story. He goes straight for the truth, and he is not afraid to put it out there for everyone to see and to make sure that justice is actually done. Not like I guess other lawyers you could say.
Yeah, that's super awesome. So, what did you think of this week's chapter? Because it was really important in terms of what we talked about in the last episode, like saving the law firm, because the person who keeps this law firm floating, who is basically has us employed here because we're employed because of him. So, if we let him down, then we're definitely gonna be out of job. So it was a really important chapter. How did you feel of like how the case? We didn't know what case it was before coming to this chapter, and we got to know. We dig up and we find stuff up. So how did you feel overall about the chapter?
I was definitely surprised. The way it left off, it made it seem like something like a big case. Like, granted, it's the same big person, but still like a bigger case. And then when we got it, it was not at all what I pictured it would be. I mean, it's still interesting to see, and it's still important, but it wasn't exactly at all what I interested. I expected something like, oh, the sperm's trying to go against me, but no, it's a case of your teenage daughter has gotten with well, a hooligan, as he wants to point out, and then it goes into the deep details about the family turmoil of him, his ex-wife, their family, his family, and it definitely was big and it was interesting, and I'm really enjoying it, and um, yeah, just it wasn't all what I expected.
Yeah, I mean, the way it progressed, and specifically with the daughter of Philip, I think. And even I liked the part because I think Sadie, she was nervous. And Gabe asks, like, whether Sadie was nervous or not. I think Gigi says, well, she was not nervous, but our main character has the option. And she looked nervous, so I chose the option. Yeah, she was nervous. And then Gabe says, like, yeah, I mean, to normalize, she would seem calm, confident, but she was nervous because this is a big case. The firm's future depends on it. And then from there, how we go. And also, I think in this chapter we didn't see Martin falling out with MC, but rather they kind of stuck together, so it says when big cases come, or maybe when the murder mystery is going to come, we're going to be together for till the end. So it was a really good sign, and I think with how it goes, first talk about with when we go to dig up the case, like Lydia, she has been with this guy who's basically a gold digger. And if we play the story, and some diamond scenes, we'll get to know Lydia thinks when Joey, this guy, I think his name was that, and when he met Lydia, he didn't know she's a daughter of a rich guy, but he still fell in love with that girl. And he when he got to know that who Lydia really was, he tried to pull back. But from Joey's narrative, we get to know like Joey knew everything. He just planned this on his own. So that part I liked, and the diamond scene where we get to give Lydia some advice is that this is going to have lasting consequences. In this chapter, didn't see any consequence, but I think in the next chapter, it's going to have some consequence. Just like the mood court thing, we got the stuff with Ryan, then we got to know the result in the next chapter. So that's how I think it's gonna go. So it was a really interesting thing with this all drama around Lydia and his this boyfriend Joey, and this property drama also. Like, I didn't understand quite like why I got that, and they mentioned it also. I mean, Philip, probably after the divorce, Philip's ex-wife, her name was on all the tabloids, and it kind of mm, kind of really like got pulled her name down the gutter. And it really brought some heat to the family, and that's why the grandparents want revenge on Philip, and they want Philip's name on all the tabloids. And they want Philip's name to go down the gutter. And they just want their own granddaughter to be a collateral damage of this. So that's why I think they're giving all the property when she gets married, so that Joey can just blow it up, and they can become like poor someone, and they can just be like totally devastated, just like how their daughter was after the divorce, right?
Yeah, definitely. The it all was really interesting to hear, and it was quite an definitely elaborate story. We the way that Lydia was, I could tell that she was definitely troubled. Probably, well, having a family apart and going through turmoil is not easy, and that was something you could easily, well, not relate to, but understand, because as you're going in, you're going with the team, you get to know her. She's like, oh, another army of lawyers coming to get me. But it's like, the main character can be like, you're right, we don't understand. She can actually appeal to him, and the main character can already get through. It just proves how strong the main character is. He can get through
Yeah,
to her. He can definitely
yeah,
explain that he doesn't understand what it's like. I mean, but maybe Bo does. I mean, Bo's kind of
yeah,
come from he's come from a rich family, high expectations expected. As well as money. He's gone through high school probably with girls wanting for his money, so he can probably relate to that. So Bo
yeah,
definitely being a great asset um in this case, but the main character is just easy to able to understand her, because one thing that is key about him or her, and one thing that's key about most people that people care about is they listen, and that's one thing you really want in someone. You want someone to actually listen, because that's one thing that I think everybody needs at one point, and just it was going well. But of course, Martin, who to say he's on the team, nicely messes things up, trying to bring in logic and fact. Of course, being Martin doesn't hasn't understand hasn't been able to understand that it's not just logic and trying to tell them what's what and right. You need to actually appeal to them. And
Mm.
then we get the scene to sneak down to the bowling alley with them. We have Gigi and wait, is it Gigi? No, Bo and Martin going to distract the elaborate boyfriend who does not give a good first impression either. He definitely gives off the vibe of controlling, I'd say. The way he acts around her. Like, she tries to act happy, but it's like it's that thing in a story where you can tell something's up, and you can tell that she is not in fact happy, and that he just seems off right at the start. And as we learn the story, it gets even more off. So he gets distracted. We have Bo and Martin. Martin actually learning this time apparently, and we have Aslan and Gigi at the bar. We were able to bowl a bit with Lydia, open up about her past, how she met Joey, how she apparently met him, and which was a bit suspicious to say
Mm.
the least. She was dropped in the middle of a street in a rainy day by her father, and just so conveniently the good Samaritan was nearby waiting. Yeah, that's just no. Even in a story, that's just too big of a coincidence.
Yeah.
But we open up to Lydia. We understand how everything goes. You can get through to her. I managed to get through to her, and she explained that she thinks he's there for her, and that he really cares for her. But even you can try and tell. Even you can get a bit of a message through to her that something's clearly not right with him. And it kind of works, but then of course she has to go for class,
Yeah.
which is
Kim.
just as we're trying to get through. But she's still got a bit of a message through to her because the main character can actually make headway in cases, unlike Martin. Um, we reconvene. We get a bit of more in depth with the boyfriend, where we even learn how much we don't like him. He actually flirts with the female main character quite a bit as well, so proves what kind of a loyal boyfriend he is. Um, and the way he talks about it just kind of infuriates me. He's like, she's a girl who needs to oh, what was it? She needs to know a way or something, or he needs her to guide her or something. Something like that just kind of infuriated me, and it's just I think it pretty much infuriated the main character, who I'm pretty sure wanted to hit him, which I can't really blame him. And just once we pack into the car at the end, it's just as we're all talking, we can all tell something's off. He just
Yeah.
meets her, comes to rescue, and he loves her just for her. No, nothing's ever that simple. Then
Mm.
once we reconvene, we're trying to get more info about it. Where everyone's tired a bit, but we're still trying to work through it. And that is when you hit with the bigger cliffhanger. One thing that I definitely did not expect is that that their wedding was moved up, and I can't tell if they're actually getting married or they are married now. One or the other. So now it's a case of the stakes are even higher now. So it's getting really tense now, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, well, about Bo, I'm right. You were right. I mean, he says, lonely rich kids often gets the victim of people who try to use them, the gold diggers, to so to say, speak. And yeah, so there is some, history behind Bo also. Maybe we will more light will be shedded on that in future, but we'll have to see. But yeah, I mean, Bo is like we have seen so far. Bo is just a character who makes fun, who just jokes about stuff. But this is the first time we saw Bo being really serious about something. And then, yeah, you're right. Martin at one point tells, like, we don't know what to do about this case, and what his father needs isn't lawyer but a psychologist. And I think so. He was obviously out of ideas because he was looking for the settlements and something. And I think they tried to come up with something like just to delay the process just before they got hit by the message, wedding information, and that is definitely changing the games. But I still think the advice we give Lydia in there in the bowling alley. I think that would make some change. Definitely in the next chapter, something would happen, or maybe it would open her eyes, because something would happen. Definitely we'll have to see. um but yeah, Joey, I mean, he, like you said, tries to hit on the main character also. And I think he also reveals at one point, like, the whole the first meeting, like when it was raining and he was waiting outside. He was all just a made up thing, and he was waiting outside, so he kind of exposes himself. And we try to come up with different ideas, we try to brainstorm this, and it was kind of disappointing from time to time because we didn't get anything. But I think the main thing is was in that chapter, the diamond scene, because that advice alone, I think, can win MC this case, can save Lydia in the next chapter. But we'll have to keep an eye out for that. But yeah, overall, a really great the plot that we see around this thing. And I think this court, this law firm, has saved Lydia before also from other lawsuits that she could have faced. And it tells a lot, because she definitely neither Philip nor she learned their lessons from past mistakes, and now the stakes are higher. So yeah, it's getting harder. And I think also after that, Lydia's life is also going to be changed, because she is kind of a brat, kind of, who outlaw rebel kind of girl who doesn't listen to her father and just wants to do whatever she likes. So I think after this, even after getting the advice from MC, and probably after seeing Joey for who he really is, how he was manipulating Lydia, she's gonna see the light probably, and she's gonna come around and can accept her father. Because I think also MC tells her, I don't remember as to why, talking about what this came up, but MC said, so you see, you're, oh yeah, the because she takes a lot of classes, bowling classes, dance classes, every class, and she enjoys it. So MC says, well, then your father and your relationship is not that bad, how bad you think it is, because all the lessons he has put you into, and you enjoy this, and so this is good. So I think that would be something we can see in the next chapter. But yeah, over this thing, I think they have also ran off to Las Vegas, so I don't know if the crew is going to move to Las Vegas in the next chapter. That could potentially happen from New York to Las Vegas. But yeah, the stakes are high, and the advice is going to save the day, I'm pretty much sure. But something more also going to happen, some more dimensions will also be necessary. And court scene, definitely we're going to have to make our case. Then the ranking would also come into play. Who wins the case, that would be also a question. But yeah, overall the next chapter is going to be interesting. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, I really can't wait for it. It's going to be really interesting to see. And all I'm saying is, I've said it before, but I'm saying it now. Please, can we have a night with Aslin in Vegas? Because now that's even a better setting than usual.
Hmm.
It'd be so great to finally be able to hook up with
Hmm.
the love interest that everybody loves. I'd say, because I've seen more love for Aslin than I have for Gabe. And I personally, I hope something really happens. It's like we're getting to this point in the book. Like we said before, the big case coming up. We want it to have a decent point, start point in the book to the end point. We also want the love interest to come in a bit sooner, because, like, so far it seems to be more 60-40 to the plot, and I do want a bit more love interest in it. It's still a bit of a love interest book. It's doing a good build up so far, but I think we've hit the point. We just want this part. We've already had two possible one night stands. We want to get with that love interest now. Like, just please.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of leaning toward Gabe, because we are seeing multiple scenes with Gabe. I think with Aslin, we're seeing scenes only where we can sort of lift up Aslin's spirits, and where we can give her some advices or solve a case. But a romantic scene, proper diamond scene, I don't so far. But with Gabe, he's taking us to the restaurants again and again. In the last chapter, he also took us to one of the restaurant, and he almost also there was, I mean, of course, it's leaning toward him. It's Gabe dominated, as it was supposed to be. to people, but still about Gabe. Also, we've seen Gabe's getting kind of handy with MC, but still at the end moment, after all this, he still pulls back and then just becomes his normal self because like he knows that this is a forbidden relationship and what could happen if he crosses the limit, if he lets himself be weak, and if something happens, and then if people get their hand on that, and even if they know that they're together, then this can be a big scandal because basically MC is fighting for a spot that, and Gabe is the one who's going to decide the future of MC and the others. So, and it would be very detrimental for both of their careers. So Gabe knows that, and I like this scene. Gabe kind of boards the no, not Gabe. MC boards the car and goes back, and then looks back at Gabe, who was going to the office again, and he sees Gabe standing there, unreadable expression in his face, and looking at MC. It reminded me of, I think you haven't played Queen Bee, but in Queen Bee there's a scene same. They have a diamond scene. The scene was almost more intense between Professor and MC, and then MC boards the car and goes away and sees Ina or In standing in the rain. It was kind of the same scene. So I don't know if Gabe is going to avoid us more after that because that's what happened in that book. So yeah, it was quite interesting. I'm thinking Pixelberry is doing a great job with this. People who are romancing Gabe, they're having a nice time, I think, with this forbidden relationship because this is slow burn kind of thing. Yeah, but I think yeah, you're right. Ashlyn, we can see probably more scenes with that, and we should deserve more Ashlyn because two love interests and should be equal time.
Yeah, definitely. Just the way it's plotted out, I can understand the point of, Gabe trying to be, he's trying to be strong, trying to be resilient to this, but eventually he's going to cave in if the main character caves in for the people who want to be with him. But I am curious to see if this will affect it if you decide to be with Aslan instead, because the way that he's going for you a lot just proves that you're not only there to be a lawyer, but he wants you there because he kind of wants to be with you more than he should. So I'm kind of thinking, is this going to impact it? I mean, truthfully, it shouldn't because at the end of the day, it's like Sadie's choice. But overall, I can see it being very tough, and well, who knows what will even happen if you get with Asling? Maybe they won't appreciate it. Maybe they might threaten to fire one of them. It's a lot of dangers with it. But truthfully, I think it should be fair. I can't wait to see what they do for either allies. It's gonna be good. Although they really need to stop biasing it towards Gabe. Really.
Yeah. And like you said about the next chapter, you want to have a big kiss or a night with Ashlyn. I think if they have gone to Las Vegas, I think, and they have eloped there. These two, Lydia and Joey. So if we go to Las Vegas, I think there are three possibilities. First one, we can have a diamond scene where we enjoy we're going to go to Vegas, Sin City. So definitely, one of the nightclubs, the casino, the bar, those kind of things, the strip club, they can come into the play by the nature of the book if we go to Vegas, and there we can take our one of the allies and we can have a steamy scene there with either Gabe or Ashlyn. That could happen, or just the kiss part. That it's a possibility in the next chapter if we go to Las Vegas. But if we even don't go, and another case if we go, that is I think they're doing this one chapter miss, and then there's another chapter. So in the last chapter, didn't have any hookup scenes, one night stand. In the previous chapter, we did have. So in the next chapter, after we solve the case, we can meet someone, in Las Vegas, maybe it's some celebrity or someone who's really famous, and we can have another hookup scene. So there's also a really high possibility, according to me. I personally think that there could be another no strings attached or one night stand, and probably this time it's going to be a female because it was first female, then a male, and then it could be a female option to hook up with for a one night stand. So yeah, these three possibilities I can see. Well, we'll have to see what happens if we go to Vegas. It's going to be like wild because this Pixelberry, whenever they write any story around Vegas, it just goes off the charts. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, I really can't wait for it. I guess it kind of makes sense. for them to do something like maybe a big case and then mainly finally end it off with a steamy night in Vegas. It's Vegas. Got to celebrate a
Yeah,
bit. So I'm really curious for that. The next chapter is going to be really good. I can't wait to see how it pans out in terms of the story. How we're gonna get her back out of this now. How we're gonna get to change her
yeah.
mind, and it's gonna be a good challenge for the main
Yeah.
character and the entire team.
Yeah, and I feel like if they go with a hookup scene in Vegas with a random character, one night stand with a fling, they're gonna use this. That what happens is Vegas stays in Vegas because I think they have done it before also with one of the hookup scenes in Vegas. So yeah, I really can't wait for that. Like with the endless possibility you have with the next chapter, and like I said, give it 6 chapters. It's quite interesting and really nice. We're solving case. It's kind of like Open Heart because the way MC develops there as a doctor, here as a lawyer, and navigates this case, and just super awesome.
Yeah, definitely, and it would not surprise me if they did that joke. Happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, because at this point, it's if you're in Vegas, it's kind of mandatory. So I'm definitely gonna be expecting that, and overall, I just can't wait for this. It's gonna be, like I said, it's gonna be a really good story, and I, for the love of God, do not. I'd say they have to maybe if they do the one night stand, maybe give us a choice because we had Lena at the start. We then had the male firefighter. I would say if you're gonna give us a one night stand, at least give us a choice on the gender. Makes it a bit
Yeah,
fair instead
yeah,
of giving us a forced one throughout the story,
yeah.
or at least give us our night with Aslan or Gabe, one or the other.
Mm, mm. I think they are trying to balance it out. It's a hunch so far for me. I think it is gonna be they like 1 to 1. So if they give one gonna balance it out one male, then probably this Vegas would be a female, then they're gonna give after 2 chapters, that is chapter 9 or somewhere, a female again, a male, sorry. So but I don't know, but yeah, it would make sense if they go with the gender customizable, yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I actually kind of thought to myself about was the fact of how many stories are gender locked in terms of male character, then going to LI. So for example, a Barry Scannell's proposal, we get given the gender locked female, but we get to choose the gender of the other character, Ava or Simon. And then we've
Yeah,
kind of gone back a bit. We're now in Laws of Attraction. We've got the gender choosable main character, and we've got 2 love interests, one male, one female, although it is biased to one guy,
yeah,
one of the main
gender,
guys, and it's kind of gone the same way for most books, I think. But definitely nice to see it, but I think it could do with a bit of a change.
yeah. I mean that would make sense, and I think it should be what we had in slow burn. Gender customizable li, gender customizable second li, gender customizable main character. At this point, it's the only thing that makes sense because we have chapters, we have episodes. They're all gender locked, and they just have one gender locked li also. But choices isn't like that, and that's why I think a lot of people read choices. It has a huge, big fan base. So I think they said at one point we will make more books with that are not gender locked because that would make more sense. But I think they're still failing it, and they need to do something about it real fast because really good books they're gender locked, and I see people really turning off because of that. But because when your main character is not a like what do you want, like foreign affairs, it was really choices of gender, just not only male female, but there was a third option too. So if your main character is not the one, for instance, if you're just a man and you're playing as a girl, sometimes for some stories it makes sense, but for some stories it just doesn't make sense, and you kind of don't feel it because yeah, this is a book, the story matters, but for instance, My to First Loves are a very scandalous proposal. The story matters. You come back, you read for the story. But in some books, maybe some vampire book or a steamy book, you read because it's just a game. So you want to make your avatar there. So these are just avatars. So if you're a guy you're playing, or if you're not a female, you're from some other gender. So it kind of it doesn't resonate with you well, and then it kind of turns you off, and even the story is not that good. So then if you like it's not resonating with me, so you just quit because I think a lot of stuff changes depending on gender in terms of MC. So like yeah, so I think they need to address it more widely, because now it is spreading choices the way. They have a huge fan base, a wide diverse fan base, and people have acknowledged them to be like they represent everyone really well. And so I think now this should need them also, that we need to do more, and they're doing it. But I think these books that they're releasing, they were already under production when they said they're going to make more gender customizable books. But I think like slow burn like books, they're the future. So Crimes of Passion or Zombie Book, I think they will be the books up for the choices. So that would be a new era of choices. Let's hope.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've got quite a bit coming up. Not too late to count them out. Ooh, sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, we've definitely got things are looking up for Pixelberries, and hopefully they keep changing it up a bit. I mean, I'm just really eager. We've talked about all the possibilities they could have for the future, for everything. It's just, guess we have to wait and see. I mean, with Open Heart and Baby Bump ending, it's definitely gonna pave way for new types of stories.
Mm,
Maybe go more to the gender side that they even said. It's gonna be different now that these
yeah,
big books have actually ended.
mm, agree with you. And also I think they're pushing the murder mystery, the main case that was basically shown in the trailer still further back. This case is going to end next chapter, so I think they better start working on the main case from chapter 9, and they can have other cases as side cases, like just they focus on the main case, and then they have other side cases, that would be like just for 5 minutes or something. Because if they don't start after this from chapter 8, I guess it would be kind of late, because I don't know when they're gonna, because if I think the main case, if it's just a mystery murder mystery, like this mystery genre book, it needs some chapters, because the mystery needs to build up, just like in the Veil of Secrets. So because they would suspect someone, then they would suspect another one, so it needs a little time. And I think if they're starting it late, they should push it back. Instead of 16 chapters, they should be doing like what they did with Baby Bump or Nanny Affair, 23 chapters, 24 chapters, because they need to give this mystery more time. Yeah, that would be super awesome. So I'm curious how this is going to go. So next chapter is a very important chapter. It could be a defining chapter of this book.
Yeah, like you said, we really need to see this main case building up soon because we don't want the foreign affairs repeat. And frankly, I'd love to see some maybe ending scenes to point towards, a bit of life with one of the love interests, and maybe the hint at a book two. Because who knows? Frankly, I could see Lords of Attraction having a book two at least, with the way it's set out. I don't think it'd be good to end it on just one.
Yeah, that would make sense, because, like I said, it's open heart kind of book. So, as a lawyer, you need more exposure. So, other cases, there could be millions of cases. To be honest, there are millions of crimes out there, and that so it's just like the medical trauma. So, I think it needs at least two, and if not, then three books.
Yeah, like I said, always maximum three,
Hmm.
minimum possibly one, depending on how it goes. Not foreign affairs, obviously. Uh, but yeah, it depends how the story goes. Really, like Open Heart, people wanted a book four, I think, because they
Yeah.
were they were not positive its ending. Like a book like Open Heart, if it gives you plenty of detail, then maybe go into another book after three. But it depends how the story's played out first.
Yeah. With Open Heart, I personally think I see why people want a book four. I mean, even when High School Story ended, I wanted a book four. It just happens, you love a book, you don't want to see it end. But two things I would like to mention. First is that it's good to end early and make people cry than ending late and make people bored about the book. So you don't want to get hate from the same people that love the book, because we series continues for a long long time and then just gets boring. Because I think, quite frankly, I see people love the group, and I also love them, the Bryce, Jackie, all them, the Ethan drama and everything. But the book, what is this book is about? The book is about medical trauma, and I think they have gone over all the cases books, and it's kind of hard to get a new book. The same thing, some disease, finding about that, then going on over that. So I don't think they have much story left because they have almost gone over all the possible medical dramas that could be there. Personal dramas they've covered really well. But in terms of medical aspect, like finding different names of the disease, it's hard work because what cures what disease, how it works, how it can happen. So it's kind of hard to carry on again and again. So it would get just boring if it gets more books. So because like the book three, even it didn't resonate well with a lot of readers. So I think it's a good time that they're ending. End on a high note rather than ending it on a low note and dragging it off. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's good that they covered like they did their best to cover absolutely everything as well as keep the drama, keep the love interest going. It was a really good story from what I've heard, and I definitely need to go through Open Heart. I'm definitely starting Baby Bump real soon because I'm so far I've loved the ideas of both books. They're fan favorites. I mean, granted, everyone's a bit mad at Pixelberries. Some people I've even heard of considering like playing much choices or even renewing their VIPs after what happened with Open Heart, which I can understand. But it just means they can pave way for new books, maybe even some similar things. So I would say
Yeah.
don't count them out just yet. And plus, you can always replay them. And
Yeah.
like I said,
Exactly.
you've always got your imagination. You can always continue on with how much Open Heart gave you with the main characters, with everything. I'd say it's who knows. People could even create their own versions of how the book would go, or how they think it would go. I'd be very interested to see how what people would think.
Yeah, exactly. That's one way. Clearly, yeah, it's just a good thing to do. Yeah. Um. So, in terms of that, is this new books and new genre? Want to talk about it? That Open Heart is ending a big book, and Baby Bump's ending another big book. So, and June is coming. Looking forward to June. um, Definitely June's Blah Insider is going to be one important. But like you said, one old book ends. That means possibility for a new book, a new genre. That means something new to fall in love for. We definitely love Ethan. We definitely love Open Heart Crew, Baby Bump Crew, Foreign Affairs Crew. But something new means new possibility, new characters to love, new dreams to dream, and everything's new. So it's just like new things are always great. Two vacancy, big vacancy on Fridays. So June is coming out. I think this June's Insider, it's going to be a huge insider. I'm waiting for it. And what new books they can bring in. We know kind of what they could bring: the Nanny Affairs, the Queen Bee, the Royal Ear. They're in the line. But still, after that, even what new genre? Because I think they're going with now detective, lawyer, and stuff. So now one doctor genre is ending. I think they should now do the genres they haven't done, and that is basically, I think, some more science fiction and then sports genre. I haven't seen a sports genre so far, so would really like to see an NFL star or a baseball star, say, or something like that. So new genres, even a lot of things are there. Maybe someone with a dance personality, a dancer, or just a writer who writes stuff, and what kind of drama it goes. Another reality TV show about something like a crazy competition. So there are endless options. There are endless dramas. Maybe a proper journalist book where MC is a journalist and reports for real crime and real stuff. Other supernatural books. So endless possibility out there. What new can be happening in 2022 and 2023? Even like it's a long calendar thing to think, or maybe in the coming months. In this year. So it's just endless possibility.
Yeah, definitely. And with all the new things coming out, I'd say we're going to be in for an interesting next few months, especially because I don't know if you've seen it, but there has been a release of the cover for the Nanny Affair 2, and it's very spicy, I have to say, and I'm really happy for it. But a lot of people are thinking it doesn't give much idea to the plot, which, to be fair, I don't think the first one did. I mean, it was the Nanny Affair, it was a basic understanding, but with how the story's gone now, I'm really curious to see how that goes as well. And then we got
Mm,
Queen Bee 2. So it's just two interesting books being brought back. It's going to be interesting to see.
mm. Yeah. And what new genres are you looking forward to? I mean, in future.
Ooh, well, I personally really like my dramas. So maybe we could see like a type of action drama. I mean, we've got It Lives Beneath and the It Lives series, but maybe something that goes in depth in terms of action as well. You know, like lot of lot more of danger a bit, I guess. So maybe have some choice. Maybe have some choices that affect the story a lot stronger in terms of a group. Like I think that might be interesting to see. Uh, maybe some sort of really hardcore party genre. Maybe a DJ. Maybe some music. I'd like to see some like music genres. You know, maybe we meet a band character who goes. You know, there's all sorts really. You know, a music
Yeah.
book with a book that has some really good music.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we would definitely like to see all those, and old books are being released also, but yeah, new things are always exciting, and I would like to see all those new books. Yeah, and yeah, I saw the Nanny Affairs, the cover. Yeah, it was like a spoiler, so yeah. Mm, well, yeah. I mean, I still think it's my personal opinion. I think the posters are kind of clickbait. Because I've talked about it. Because in the first book, also, if you just see it, you would be like, "All right, I gotta keep my children away from this. It's just not a good read. Maybe it's not good for me." And it's just some same thing. But I think it doesn't do justice. Because yeah, it's a nanny affair. Yeah, it's there are steamy scenes, but it's just a half of it. It's just a half of the glass. It's more than that. It's just not nanny affair. It's not a forbidden romance or some, it's not an erotic story. It's definitely not that. And it's just a normal, yeah, it's just a expression. The it's a people can say it's a lust story, but it's just not that. Definitely, probably it started as that with Sam and MC, but then they genuinely fell in love with each other. It's not just like, you see someone on the street and you see, wow, it's just a good, it would be a love for one night stand. They definitely never went for that. They kind of went in, like, enjoyed that, with each other's company. Sam would get weaker whenever MC was around. It was started as sexual, but then it started building up, and then it became mental. At one point, Sam was ready to give up everything for MC, and even if Sam was going to marry Sophia, she was like, all right, you're always going to be my that person. And this kind of stories are not new. Specifically in old days, it was like, really, you marry someone but you love someone else. So I think it's quite it's in depth, and more importantly, the main part, it's not just MC and Sam. It's, I have said it before also, that it's about MC and the two kids, Mickey and Mason. And that, I think that's the main thing. Because if there wasn't any Mickey or any Mason, then there wouldn't be a relationship between Sam and MC. And I think they're the primary. At one point, I think if you read the book, you'll see it's basically Mickey and Mason's love. MC urges Sam to come back for them, to think about them. So I think it's just one big happy family. So I think it just doesn't do much justice. But they could be doing something like, yeah, definitely they have that, or maybe Mickey Mason. They could have also gotten the place in the book cover, because I think it's just more. And so yeah, in book one I can see that picture, but in book two they could have gone with Mickey Mason there, because that would have made more sense. Just one big happy family, because that's the main thing. It's just not about the nanny affair. It's just steamy CEO boss, hot sexy scenes. These are the tags there. Definitely they are there, but that's just half of the story. It's just so that's just my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that I've always loved the Nanny for was its in depth of family. You know, in the end, you see them come together. You see them, become close, and you see how much Sam starts to care for the main character, and it's just a deep meaning. I mean, you can understand how tough it is for the main character. You know, she's going through being this. She's just considered as a side piece, and she doesn't really know. She doesn't really think that Sam really falls for her, but she does, and she goes as far to break it off to be with her for her kids, and it's just it's better to see. It's nice to see them coming together, and as much as we kind of want to see some rivalry, I guess, from someone else in the second book, I hope there's nothing serious to tip them apart. I mean, I guess it would make sense for the drama, but I do believe someone may have said there's a possibility for multiple endings. So I guess I'd be a bit upset to see an ending where they split or something after everything they've been through.
Huh. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen, but it could be. Like I think they said that you may not be the only nanny in town this time around. So I think we're gonna get a competition from another nanny, and it could be like Sam would definitely not go for the nanny because she is in love with our MC. But what could happen? Maybe Sam's family putting pressure or condition like, all right, okay, you think like this girl is fit for you? Okay, how about this? We give a nanny, and if she fits, and let's make her compete with that nanny, and they're going to compete. Even Sam wouldn't be willing for the competition because it just doesn't make sense, but she'd be probably under pressure, just a drama. And Sam would be secretly wanting MC winning this, secretly supporting this, but again, she would have to show this neutrality and this stuff, and all the dramas with kids back and forth. That's how it can go. And like they said, we'll be knowing more about Sam's past, Sam's previous wife and stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be one hell of a book. I can't wait for it. I mean, quite frankly, when this book is gonna be released, I'm gonna be on the top of the moon because I remember I started playing this book when it was 4 chapters had been released, the book one, and I kind of liked it. The slow burn, the relationship between Sam and MC, the yeah, forbidden romance, like it was I don't know, I can't put it into words, but it was just everything, just every time Sophia and Sam would be together, MC would be looking at Sam, and the kind of pain in their eyes and vice versa. It was just a whole lot of things. I really liked those chapters.
Yeah, definitely. I was, I guess I'd say I was fortunate to get the book when it full came out, and I was able to just enjoy it in full. And to be honest, it just I'm kind of glad I did because if I'd read it as it was just coming out, I don't think I would have been able to wait as long as this before book two. I'm really excited. I cannot wait for it to come out. It'll be the one thing on my mind. I'll just be replaying chapters non-stop, going through it. And hopefully get all the CG images that I like to get. I cannot wait.
Yeah, let's wait for it. Yep, definitely. The new books, new possibility. This book, I can't wait for this. Either this or Queen Bee. I mean, I still remember about Queen Bee, the book one. I also started playing this after some chapters to release, and then the way I think the Adoration Center or something of that Benji crap. I think you haven't read it yet. So halfway through it, it picked up kind of the tea and stuff, and Poppy, the rivalry between them, and then here and there dropping some sections like in the laws of attraction and those, and overall the competition, the concept, MC, and it was just a whole lot experience. Can't wait for this book too now. Really excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, I mean, from the teaser or the teaser cover, it's definitely matches how steamy the story has been, and I can only assume we're gonna get much more steam now they're actually together. It's gonna be really interesting to see, and I cannot wait. I just hope it goes, maybe brings it back a bit more.
Yeah, fingers crossed, fingers crossed.
Fingers definitely crossed.
Yeah, it's gonna like fire the whole choices community when these two books are gonna drop, Nanny Affair 2 and Queen Bee 2. It's just super hit successful book of last year, and it's just gonna rock it. What would have been better if Blades of Light and Shadow had to come out this year around the same time? Just imagine three books releasing with Laws of Attraction, with a very scandalous proposal here and there a little bit. Maybe they would be releasing at 14 chapters something. But just imagine. I mean, it would have been a golden choices time.
Definitely, yeah. I just want the book to come out now, or at least to come out next month, please. I'm so eager for it. Honestly,
Yeah,
I can't wait.
yeah, I can vouch for Queen Bee or Royal Air, but I can definitely vouch for the Nanny Affairs because they said it. You can expect it in the summer because this hot, steamy thing in summer. June is the summer month, so expect. I think I would say expected by 22nd June. 22nd June, I think it's gonna be hitting our libraries and choices. Hopefully,
Yeah, hopefully, the sooner the better. But take the time because we want hopefully the
yeah.
perfect book.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. We'll see about that. All right. So now our next book, that next chapter, the second chapter, released a very scandalous proposal. And like I said in the last episode, that in the last first book, it was kind of, we're getting the hint. It was not that I wouldn't say that super exciting, that wow, but this chapter, it was defining. I mean, it got me so intrigued that I cannot wait for the next chapter of a very scandalous proposal. And it's just kind of, it's a book that I'll be waiting for every Wednesday. Tell me about your feelings about this book two, chapter two. Sorry.
Yeah, this chapter 2 was definitely interesting. We got the revelation of the Montajoy wanting to marry us, which was surprising. I definitely couldn't help but laugh in the story and out of the story. Just just to see the fact that we're the ones needing to work, but yet they're the ones coming in with this, marriage. We start off pretty interesting. They tell us that things are being interesting. Just the she just needs to marry us. That's about it. And then finally we're able to go down to the pub, get a drink. She explains more in depth of having a rough time with with the family. She wants to go with the estate. She wants to be, she wants to become the next Duchess, get the estate, take over her family's legacy. But given her lifestyle choices, that's not going so well. One of which the main character even kind of rubs in her face, which definitely shocks her. And she's just she's definitely troubled in terms of certain things, and she just wants us to go smoothly. She wants to get on with her life, no strings attached. If she was going to settle down, she wants to wait for the right person, but it's not as simple as that. She's got to. She wants us to stay. She describes how this goes. A fake fiance get what she needs, and in return offering the information for her book. She'd have access to all the Montajoy secrets in and around the estate. She'd be so, she'd be eager for it, and it'd be, she'd get everything she needs. She'd expose them. She'd get definitely a lot of fame, a lot of wealth from her book and publisher. Be interesting to see. And but the fact that I kind of respect her for trying to stay noble, because the first time, even after all of it, she declines it. She's trying to stay noble, no shortcuts. Respects where it's due. And then she tries digging herself. She doesn't get very far, only the fact that she had a run in with her ex fiance, Arabella, which did not end on a pleasant turn, but it's very vague. All I know is that they were like college sweethearts, they were engaged, but something broke it off. We're not sure why yet, but it had to have been something big for them to just break up like that. Um, and it's, well, throughout the day, constantly going through the information, trying to get to the library. It didn't work the first time. Of course, Ava comes by the second time and is offering her assistance, surprisingly. And but still trying to stay stubborn, trying to stay noble. But at the end of the episode, no matter what turn she takes, she's backed into a corner. And what choice does she have but to accept Ava's proposal and become her fake fiance to get all the information she needs, and Ava could take over the estate. So definitely an interesting finish off, I'd say.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. First of all, yeah, like you said, everything that happened in the chapter, and it was really exciting. But when we read the letter of the 13th Duke or something in 1901, it was a forbidden love for the Duke. The Duke married someone, but was in love with someone else, and he was writing the letter to them. And when the language, the way the letter is written, and they show his face, the background, the sort of the music, it kind of feels like, I'm kind of swept back to that century. I'm kind of reading that, so I was like, wow. And I think they said you would be getting these more and more, so every chapter I would be spending my diamonds to see what happens next in the letter, what he writes more, to just get that scene with that person, the background music, the kind of way that is written, the language, and to get the feeling of 19th century. That way, it was just super awesome. And yeah, overall. our main character tries to stay a noble a reporter, but she fails. Yeah, she gets in touch with that Arabella, but still, it was not the enough info. And but still, at the end, she accepts the proposal. But then she has in her mind all these things. What is going to happen next in terms of how she's going to be introduced to her family because she needs to impress her family members. A British, sorry, an American reporter to a British royal family. Well, it's like this is not something that's gonna be widely accepted by her family. So there is gonna be drama, drama, drama. So can't wait for it, and hopefully it's gonna be just super awesome there.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how it goes because it's gonna be definitely gonna be hard for her as an American to integrate into a high class British society. Because one thing as well is there's in most story cases of high society there are a lot of British, high ups who are rather snobby. We would say, they see themselves as powerful and better as everyone, of a sophisticated manner, and to see what they would see as a commoner would be definitely challenging. She'll definitely have some hardships to go through um,
Yeah.
with this whole thing, but as long as she can win over the Montjoys, I think she'll just be okay, and she'll be able to, because the main character is very strong. She'll be able to hold her own against every everyone in there, hopefully.
Let's hope that. And it started well, and I kind of read the chapter descriptions till chapter 16. So I think this is only gonna get better from here, and I can't wait for what to come in the next chapters. This is gonna be one of the interesting books. VIP books, definitely VIP quality book it is. And I feel like with Ava, this is also some kind of relationship I like because this is we kind of agreeing this. It's kind of a agreement. Then we're gonna be living together or seeing more of each other, helping with each other's fights, struggles, getting to know each other well. Then what started out as a fake relationship would end up being a real relationship. That's what we can see with One Love Interest book, and I'm gonna enjoy that because I really love those kind of things.
Yeah, one thing I'm also hoping as well is that we get that Ava, while with her beauty and logic, understands how much she like. I think she really does care for the main character. I just hope she can show it in the end. Like I said, they get show their appreciation for one another. They actually fall in love, and hopefully maybe even have Pixelberry reconsider the choice for a sequel
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that would be nice to see. Hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, they're doing a different thing this time. They're releasing it not all the chapters all together, but each week, every single chapter, just like they do with any other newly releasing books. So I think throughout half the wave, this is super popular, and I think this is gonna be popular because and this is a great time. Open Heart has been completely released. It's ending, Baby Bump ending, Slow Burn VIP, only Laws of Attraction. So for a few weeks, for 2 or 3 weeks, there are only going to be two books, and that's enough. Even if people don't like it at first, even if they just play it because there is nothing else to play, they would instantly fall in love with this book. You just got to give it two chapters to fall in love with this book. So yeah, it's gonna do great in future, and I can't wait for chapter 3. How we're gonna impress the family? What's gonna happen from here? This is super exciting.
Yeah, one thing I'm really eager to see as well is the notes as well that we gathered from that chapter. If you put the diamond scene, we've information about a spicy possible love affair. That is really
Yeah.
interesting to
Yeah,
see.
the 13th Duke. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah,
It's interesting to see. I'm really curious as to see how that will go.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, and the way, like, when we read his letter, his face comes in front of us, and he's saying that, and the way the language is and the background music, it sweeps us back to the 1901.
Sorry. Yeah, definitely. I'm just so excited. This little side story as well is really interesting. I'm really curious to see how it's going to come up. With the Duke.
Yeah, me too.
Someone of also high honor who is going into what seems to be another scandal, or at least a forbidden love. It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out for that. But also in this chapter, I think with Nigel and stuff, at some point we ask Nigel for help. Nigel says something. Also, we see it, but I think they represent the class difference there. In Britain specifically, like this is basically a class-ridden society there, and it is lower class, upper class. You don't have access to a lot of details like you have in America. So, what would you like to say about this representation of class they basically made in this chapter?
I think it does kind of. I'd say in terms of the royal, like in terms of the royalness of the British, it kind of. I feel it kind of falls back to a bit of an older time in terms of like maybe old royals of how they act. You know, they see people as commoners, especially Americans. They come from a higher breed. You know, well, what they see themselves as a higher breed, a higher society. So I think that kind of goes back a bit into a bit of olden time. But in terms of the rest of England, it comes up in the modern time, or at least I'd say a couple of years ago at least, and it's good to see. And I think they've done a pretty good representation of it. To say it's a book, but one thing I'll give the writers for is their analysis and how much they learn about different things in different countries, different cultures, classes. They do a really good job of representing it as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that also touched my heart. And also, I needed to pause the game and go to Google and search a lot words, meaning of a lot of words, because a lot of new words that are used in Britain. So I can't remember some words, but torrid or something. Lots of words. So yeah, it was fascinating. Learned some new words.
Yeah, there's a lot of old Brit terms that I think a lot of people will be googling up quite a bit. It'll be interesting to see how they view them as we say some of them.
Yeah, it's just great. It's just super awesome. And like I said, I'm waiting on the chapter 3. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I cannot wait. This story is already spicing up, and it's 2 chapters in. I'm just really curious. I just want to see more of it.
Mm, exactly. So, and next up, what's going on in Slow Burn? In the last chapter, what happened? How did you feel it?
Well,
Did you read it?
that's getting interesting now. I'm really happy to see that. So we get back to the hotel room with the cliffhanger. Yvette or Everett coming in little steamed, mad that we got their family involved, but we finally it didn't end well. Regardless, we finally understand why they didn't want it, why they didn't want their family in the spotlight, trying to keep away from the vultures of tabloids. From a personal experience that Yvette actually had, she still stays hidden after the run in with the main character.
Mhm.
She avoids her family, the crew. So in terms, it's left to the main character to take over that part of the show. And when it gets to the actual viewing part, Yvette secretly shows up. She's in the dark. Whilst we're recording, you get a heart-to-heart moment, hearing what they want to talk about the daughter, and then just out of nowhere, she steps out of the dark. They're shocked and they have this really deep, heartfelt moment throughout the middle part of the story. They cook together. They have a little reconnection, reconciliation. It really is beautiful. They make a very nice dish. I will say that this one I think has really caught my attention. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a really interesting dish for Saint Lucia, and it was an amazing chapter. I'd say good reconciliation between. We even have a little moment with Yvette who gives us a tour. She even shows us this beautiful little cliffside area with a nice view, somewhere she'd come to kind of think and get her bearings. Somewhere quiet, pleasant for her own. Just to make her feel better when she's having downs. And we have that heart-to-heart moment, and everything seems perfect. But at least until we get back to the hotel to the next day, which leaves on a very, very burning cliffhanger, we find out to Zara that they have officially brought on Antoine, Yvette's rival, and the person she fell out with at Costa Korea. They have brought him back into the show for a guest appearance. So that is going to be really interesting to see next chapter. I cannot wait to see how this is going to play out. They've just got Yvette back, and now they're throwing her into this fire. It's going to be really interesting to see.
Hmm. Do you think it's a conspiracy by someone?
I'm not sure. I mean, it is Zara. She is a she's desperate about ratings and she's about the drama. So to be
Mm,
honest, it doesn't surprise me that she's brought Antoine in. But the fact is, something different could happen. Maybe she's trying to change things with the show. Maybe she's
could
trying
be.
to do something with Antoine. It wouldn't surprise me with Zara. She is a backstabbing. She's a backstabbing ratings. Just I I'm really curious to see how this plays out. I mean, even Zara mentioned that she's not all about the drama, which was a complete and total lie, obviously. And I will say that I think it's going to come down to everyone together. So Yvette, MC, maybe even Julia, and some of the crew to just walk out. Maybe they all walk out at the end and they make their own show, make their own part without Zara, because at this point Zara is just a liability and she's like a food version and critics version of Zofia. She doesn't care she doesn't care about people's feelings or anything. She does what she wants for the show, for the ratings, for her own personal benefit, and she'll do whatever
Mhm.
it takes. So with the fact that she's definitely brought on Antoine, it's just doesn't surprise me at this point.
Mm, yeah, but that would be interesting to see in the next chapter, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'm really curious how this is going to play out, especially with the fact that Yvette has just come back and just agreed to
Yeah.
continue, and now they've just thrown her back into fire with bringing this guy in, and it's going to be interesting to see how the main character has a bit of a turmoil with him. I'm hoping he does.
Yeah. I also can't wait to that and for how I think I hope we can get to see more of Julian or I don't know Julia. I forgot the other love interest. Them.
Yeah, we've already had one steaming out with Julia and a little an intimate moment by the beach. I'm really curious to see a bit more. I think one of the worst things will be coming down to a choice between both of them. It's going to be a tough one.
Hard. Yeah, yeah. Well, I think I would be going for Julia because I kind of think their character resonates really well with me. Yeah, if it's like it's a great character, but I think this is her character, just as a just a restaurant, just she just uh, owns my heart, to be honest. Both the characters, they're nice, but Julia, she's gonna be the one. If I have this option to choose, I'm gonna choose her because just because how their character is, how they are, and it's just for me they're the best. Yeah, if it is good and a great ally, but I think Julia tops the list there so far.
Yeah, definitely. Really curious to see how this is all going to play out. I do really like Julia. She's so sweet, passionate, caring.
Mhm.
She's the kind of
Yeah,
person you'd want. And then you've also got Yvette, who's also caring, a little stubborn, which is something you'd like, but she's warming up to you. She's definitely someone strong you'd want by your side. It's a really tough choice, frankly, especially with the fact that you can literally flirt with them simultaneously. What if it comes down to having to choose one of them at the end? That's going to be a little deep.
it's gonna be hard. Yeah, and yeah, that's it. Um, Now coming to the it lives beneath that we were talking till chapter 9. I think we talked. So it's time for the chapter 10 to 13. I think that's the chapters we saw in Cat's live stream this week, right?
Yes, chapter 13, yeah, we did. It was definitely interesting. It definitely has it it brings back that confusion aspect that we talked about last time. It started confusing, it ended off on what seemed like a simple climax, but it's just climbed straight back up. It has been really interesting this week.
Mm. I mean, we pick up from right where we left, and so far so good. Three more chapters left before the ending. It's gonna be super awesome. But so far, I think in chapter 13, where we end, it's just I think we have just got back Elliot, and then from there we also hear Josephine's voice also. So it's gonna be that, and we have gotten back Elliot from Astrid and his her husband, and we were with Parker. I think her grandpa was with us, and then it's still left on a cliffhanger, and we're going to see what
Hmm.
happens in the next three chapters, which are going to be pretty interesting, I believe.
Yeah, it's been an interesting turn off. We started off with it seemed like a pleasant, finishing off. We had, Grandpa had been arrested. Everything had enough for the climax. We had the society's help. It started off with which I believe was the Lake Day. It was a Lake Day festival. We were all going out, going to party. Even with the problem of the water, we find out that Elliot is really he really wants to get to know Robbie. He wants to be with them. He's falling in love in a way. The main character can actually, well, Cat actually, she made him feel a bit better. Tried to get him to go for what he likes. Plus he likes him back anyway, so it's a good rekindle moment. Take a little detour through the dam. They both, I what assume, get together. You give them a moment while you get back. You meet up with Imogen. I finally got her name right. Um, Danny Parker and Tom. It starts off pleasant. It's a decent day. By the water, having fun, little festival. But of course, it starts to go a bit downhill when it gets to the chief's speech. Danny and a few others notice that something feels off about it. It's not like the regular speech that they
Yeah.
usually hear, even if he was society. Something still seems off, and let's just say the trust for the society obviously drops. It's a little suspicious. And then next thing you know, catastrophe. The entire festival's under attack by the lake monster and its creatures. They're going straight for it. It's crazy just to see how much is going down. Even the main character almost gets caught up as well. But no, Tom even does a little heroic thing there. Well, he managed to save, when he managed to help the main character, and he almost. I'm pretty sure this guy just cheats death all the time. He's taken so many hits in this story and so many near-death experiences. He is just in like oblivious to death. Props to him.
Yeah.
He almost loses life once, but that's when it starts getting rough. Imogen and that lot coming in with the help. Imogen and her horse come in with Diabolos, who puts up a tough fight until the poor horse was actually it gave its life to save her, and it was killed and taken, which was a very deep moment. But I don't think it was as deep as the main character's brother Elliot being taken as well underwater by the creatures. It was very shocking. We still got the town under attack. Managed to force them back, but then the main character's starting to go a bit crazy. Your brother's been taken. He's possibly dead, but he's got the spirit that he's still alive, which is good to hear. Uh, what else have we got? We've got the fact that they tried to reconvene. Tried to fight this thing. They meet up with the society to try and fix things. But that's when it all goes south. It turns out, as we thought, the society it's still a cult, and they are not a good cult, as obviously
Yeah.
turns. They don't in fact want to use this power. They want to harvest it. They want to evolve it, and the story that goes into it is pretty deep and pretty messed up for them. But it's a cult. They try to take the blood of the main character, which is really essential, but they don't know why. Well, most people don't know why. Um, but then that's when it all breaks out. The creature manages to attack with its creatures. Everything goes crazy. The cult all turn. Astrid manages to summon a dirt monster, which I still don't get. Uh, Along with her husband and her army, we find out how backstabbing the cult really is. It is a long fight. A lot of people took a lot of damage. Tom almost lost his eye because Astrid was literally this close to putting that knife in his pupil until Parker,
Yeah.
of course, hits him with a flying kick. And obviously, we've got the comment of the night, which Cat. Oh my god! When Cat left it, she could not stop laughing, and I could not laughing. It was the bite my ass Norma Bates. Oh my god! It was. Oh god! I couldn't stop laughing. It was a hilarious comment. Frankly, she deserved it, and it was just perfect. And then we finally managed to escape with the help of Shocker, good old Grandpa, who he's supposed to be in jail after what happened. Everything went south, but no, it's all kind of good. We managed to reconvene, get together, find out, try and recover what happened. You actually can have a heart to heart with Danny um, after you wake up, not feeling too good. Um, then you have that heart to heart with your grandfather, and he tells you the entire story of what's been going on with everybody. the creature under the water is the main character's grandmother and his deceased wife, who discovered this power a long time ago, and she tasked herself with protecting it. His grandfather was a part of the company that tried to move her out and cut down the entire forest, but she wasn't having it. They fell in love. He tried to offer help, and then the society took advantage of that and they captured her. And then, in order to, because they got so greedy, they built a dam and they built pine springs to harvest this power for themselves. And the weirdest and the worst thing they could have done was just before they filled up the dam, they went, they literally, I can't remember what it was. They practically stapled her to the bottom of the center. They literally had her pinned down in the center and filled it with water, drowned her, and and her soul is literally at the bottom of the damn lake, being harvested, and every time the power's being used, it's her being killed over and over again. She's living in eternal hell. And the worst thing is, she's a ticking time bomb as well, because they keep harvesting this, she keeps getting stronger. She still has some of herself in there, which can be, convened with, to put her soul at rest, but it's not long. She is a ticking time bomb, and it won't be long before she's at full strength and she's consumed by pain and power. She, if not, if not if not well put to rest properly, she will wreak havoc. She will have full control and she will overpower everybody. She will destroy Pine Springs and everyone in it if she's not, well, I say stopped. If the society is not stopped and she's not given the proper ending she deserves. But it's not too bad though. We managed to as we find out where Elliot is, we
Hmm.
find out that where he is. They're actually under the dam in an old spillway, which is shocker in Richard's old mansion to find Richard himself still up and about. And in jacking, the disguises, I do. It was interesting to see they gave the option to either kill them or leave them. Frankly, I to be honest, I think I would have killed them. It's do not have loose ends. Not to mention they're a liability. They wake up, they come back. You don't want that. You don't want that trouble. But
Yeah.
Kat obviously giving them. I respect her for giving them mercy. It's not murderers, even if it is the right thing to do. And she moves on. Managed to find Elliot with who's already in a confrontation with Astrid and Vincent. And obviously, with the disguises, they actually think you're on their side.
Yeah.
But shocker, they're not. And it's kind of happy to see them shocked out of their mind. But the worst part is once they one thing that's been missing was the chief himself, who just so happened to be conveniently behind you with a gun pointed at you. And then
Hmm.
end cliffhanger. So
Hmm.
it's been an interesting few chapters. Definitely a plot story, and I am so excited for the ending. I've actually finished college now, so I will actually be able to be at the stream on Thursday for the ending. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I mean, It Lives Beneath is one of the best stories, if not the best story in choices. Few best stories the way it is written because but till chapter 9 you see, wow, grandpa did this because we always saw grandpa as a bad guy. It's just a cruel, rude, just a really crude guy. He's just yells at us every time, and we found out he's a member of cult. We thought the cult is bad. Richard was there, then we thought the cult is good. Grandpa was bad. We were, reeling from that thought. Then we see like this is the lake monster. They are bad. And we see the monster is not bad. Cult is good. And then the whole thing with Imogen. The Imogen was also being accepted toward in the society, and then all the things happen. They say we need your blood a little bit to stop the monster. Then say no, all of it. And then we knew that, well, they're not the good guy. And then we fight, and then they just throw Danny and Parker into the lake. And I was like, damn, what's gonna happen? I mean, they're lake monsters, but then yeah, you're right about Tom. Tom is fighting near death experiences every now and then since book one, quite fair, to be quite fair. And then we fight them here, then other monsters wake up, and then we find Grandpa, and finally we knew that Grandpa was on our side because Grandpa didn't kill our mom, dad. They sort of controlled his speech and they made him say all those things back in that Richard's mention. And then, like you said, how the story goes on, we find Elliot, who was kidnapped by them. Parker helps us. Grandpa helps us, and then and then we have to this the cliffhanger because, like you say, the stapling thing, and then the needle they throw. I think the needle or pin they throw down the lake, and it just sticks to Jocelyn and Josephine, and Josephine is sort of it's making her angry, and like, yeah, so there is a limit and the threshold. When it crosses the threshold, everything is going to be destroyed, and they will not be surviving it. Um, I think in my case, I kind of killed them. I don't remember because it's been so long since I played it, but yeah, how the things are gonna go from here, because we have lots of enemies. Josephine seems I don't know, it's just an enemy friend at this point, but the cultists, they're definitely bad news. And how we're gonna balance it out, who is gonna be the main enemy, what how's things gonna turn out, who is bad, who is good. It's gonna be a real good thing. And now after we get to know Josephine was our grandmother and grandfather's wife, and how the letters, we used to get from Joseph in all those letters we read, someone's being here, someone's having a connection to the witch back in Westchester, I think. And then all the things that that girl, the woman buying a place here, people coming here, one of them liking that woman, and it all we put into perspective when we get to know about our grandma. And that was a really shocking revelation for me. It was like, wow, so all those letters we got, that was not for nothing. Josephine was giving us those letters, and that was how it went. And the power we learned about in the lake, that it's not a ghost, it's just a power. So yeah, it's an overall really good, well written, well um, organized story, and so far so good. Like you said, can't wait for the ending. And then yeah, there's just waiting for the ending, because I think there's going to be major fight in the last three chapters. We're going to see lots of unexpected things, and a great ending. So can't wait for the last two chapters.
Yeah, absolutely. I cannot wait. The chat. I've been looking at the chat over the VODs for the actual thing. The chat's been super hype. We've had so many people, some good old friends from Twitter. We even had Pixelberry themselves from the community team showing up. It's so nice to see them stop by. They even said they passed on a few questions to the writers team as well, which is understandable because it's understandable. Props to the writers. They do an amazing job, especially with all those spicy scenes. And I do remember a couple people, even Kat herself, saying she should do some. I don't think she'd get away with doing Witness, Queen Bee, or even the Nanny affair on stream, given how steamy they are. And I will admit, it would be really interesting to hear those scenes being explained on stream and being
Yeah.
said out. It would definitely be interesting. Kat, you should do that. Nanny affair,
Mhm.
Witness, Queen Bee, do them on stream. It'd be really funny to see but yeah, the build up has been amazing. The story has been exceptional. I cannot wait to see what we've got next. And I just can't wait for next Thursday. Well, this Thursday, I should say. I'm super hyped about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait for that. It's building up, and Cat's voice, it makes it more scary, more real, and the music is there already. So yeah, it's just super awesome. I can't wait for to see how it ends. I have read it once, but still, every time I play it or I see anyone's playing, or just kind of like how Cat is doing, it's just more I think interactive, and can't wait to see how it ends. And it just, and the ending specifically, what they choose, and how it's gonna go, because I personally chose a different ending, and how it's gonna end, how the nerf score prevails at the end. All the things are gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I just cannot wait. And one thing I love is her voice, is her grandpa voice. I can't tell if it's supposed to be hoarse or if it's supposed to be a bit of constipation, one of the two. But it's absolutely hilarious. I love it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I can't wait. I love the way Kat does her stories. Her voice is absolutely. Voices are amazing. It's just so nice to see someone, her and both Tasha doing such an amazing job keeping these series alive, bringing communities together once again, and just going through these amazing stories, and I'm really eager to see a very scandalous proposal from her. It's such an amazing story.
Yeah, yeah. And a very scandalous proposal will also feature your British accent and your acting, kind of voice acting for all those British characters, aristocrat families, and with those aristocrat families, this, aristocracy in your voice. So I can't wait for that either. It's going to be super fun. It's a proper blending.
Definitely, it's definitely gonna be interesting. I'm again, if Kat, if you're up for it, I'm down. And I do possibly, and I do know a few people in the Insta fandom who may be able to provide some female voices if need be. There are quite a
Yeah.
few amazing people in there, so it would be. I just can't
Yeah,
wait. It's gonna be an amazing next few weeks. That's all I can say.
yeah, yeah. And also, I think the talk is down, with the choices group chat. So I have on board you, and you, Cat, choices lady, and another one who was on my show just yesterday, Danielle, and I are gonna be on that. So all I gotta do is just find the flexibility in everyone's schedule and books they have read, and then just we're gonna go someday talk about choice is going to be great, and the idea came out of your head, so thanks for that.
Yeah, thank you. It's just something to see, bring everyone together. And I have been loving the podcast you've been doing with various people. Actually, it's been really nice to see some fresh new faces and some interesting people show up. It's been really refreshing, and I just can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like this five. I mean, it's been so fun talking about the different books you like. You like Nanny Affairs and some other books. Kat, I think, liked a lot of books. To be honest, it was not just any particular book. Then Daniel liked Open Heart, and then definitely other books, but mainly Open Heart, and then Ride or Die with Choices Lady. So it'd be fun to bring some books that everyone played and just to get to know them because I don't think we ever talked about all the books I mean, most of the books that are in choices. So it would be super awesome to bring all together. It's like a reunion and talk about what we love, choices books. It'd be just I think great some couple of hours to remember in the weekend.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. It would definitely be a good couple of hours of fun. Nice to bring everyone together to go through all our favorite books, all our different opinions. It's just a recipe for an amazing day, really, and an amazing future. Who knows? Never start
Yeah.
but one. That's all I say.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, it definitely makes sense. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's super exciting. Yeah, so I'm almost down my chart. There's nothing much left. So, anything else you want to add? Any questions or anything you want to bring to the table?
Not off the top of my head, I don't think we've covered Everscan's proposal, Slobber, LOA, and the It Lives. I think
No.
that's a wrap.
Yeah. So, if you don't have anything, I have one last thing to tell you.
Oh,
Did you have you read what is it called? The Breadwood Manor, I think.
no, but I have heard of that once. I
Yeah.
haven't
So
looked into it
it's
yet.
Yeah, it's just a book of 6 chapters. So I would urge you, whenever you have free time next, you go ahead, read the book, about this because it's just one of the best books. I think it's really underrated and one of the oldest book one of the books that Charles released in the old days, Charles' oldest book. It's a great book. Horror, everything is mixed, and like I said, you get horror genre everywhere, but why Charles' horror genres are different, it just goes on to show too, so you should give it a try.
Yeah, definitely. I'll give it a look over this week, and
Yeah,
I'll give you my opinions next episode.
yeah, 6 chapters, just yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I cannot wait, as always.
Yeah. All right, so that's it for us, I guess. And like I said, your stream, I can't wait for that too. I'll be linking your streaming, the Twitch link and stream below, so that listeners can go on there and check out your streams and specifically stay there for a very scandalous proposal and the stream that's going on of It Lives Beneath, and it's gonna be super fun. I'm really looking forward to those. Streams and can't wait to for a very scandalous proposal. It's gonna be scandalous. Really.
Oh, yeah, you had to put one in there, didn't you? Yeah, I. I really can't wait. Can I get working on my accents? Yeah, but like I said, we could possibly get some other people in as well. If, like I said, if cats are open to the idea, we could get a few people in because I do know some other people who could easily do a better accent than me. But
Mm,
guess we'll see. It's gonna be fun regardless. I cannot wait.
yeah. Yeah, me neither. It's gonna be fun. All right, so thanks for coming, and I hope to see you again for the group chat and for many other things. Many more time. It's just always like always. It's the pleasure is all mine, and it's like really good to talk with you. It's just good time. It's just like it's just like a charger for me. Just it just charges me again and gives me energy for the whole week and stuff. So yeah, thanks for again coming and talking to me, and this is awesome. Charles stuff.
Yeah, and as always, thanks for having me. I love being on here to talk with you, to be able to talk for everyone in the fandom, be able to get to know everyone. I'm thinking at some point I should do some sort of Q&A stream, maybe a get to know stream at some point for the fandom. Maybe I
Yeah,
could do that at one point. But
yeah,
as
definitely.
always, I love being a part of this.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, I'll be sharing your stream link below, so listeners can go on there. So whenever you do the Q&A stream, they can tune in there, and then it's gonna be super fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll be waiting.
it'll be just so much to look forward to in the future with the
Yeah,
fandom. It's I just can't
it,
wait.
it never ends, does it?
Never ends.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay, so stay safe, take care, have a nice week ahead of you. Thanks for coming again and see you again. Stay safe.
Till next
Bye.
time.
Bye.